resolution in reference to a basis of peace, resolved by the General Assembly of the state of North Carolina. Remember this, that we regard the present war between the Confederate States and the United States as a war of self-defense on the part of the Confederate States. Yet we do not hesitate to declare that for the sake of humanity, it becomes our government, through its appropriate constitutional departments, to see its earnest effects to put an end to this unnatural work of carnage. And to this end, we carefully recommend that our government, after signal success of our arms and on other occasions when none can impute its actions to alarm instead of a sincere desire for peace, shall make to the government of our enemy an official offer for peace on the basis of independence and nationality. They wanted nationality, the South did. So I automatically think of Noble Drew Ali's literature. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and the South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at the time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And it says directly right here that it's appropriate constitutional departments. You know what I'm saying? However, Noble Drew Ali said the 14th and 15th Amendment is not needed for the salvation of the Moors, because it was for the salvation of the European, because it said the South was left without power. But I also read in congressional records the same wording, but it says without power or nationality. So right here, they're speaking of the paramount importance of nationality. But the 14th and 15th Amendment created the U.S. citizen, which is not a nationality, because we did our studies in regards to Hawaii. We already went over and did the reading in regards to United States annexing Hawaii. And it said that they took on the U.S. citizenship and their nationality was extinguished. It's just like Ireland. It said we have gathered our best peasants, and the ones from Ireland immigrated all the way over to America, and they abandoned their lands, and it was annexed, and they lost their birthright because they had identified themselves with colors instead of nationality. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. So indeed, this is 1864, this newspaper article. So Allah, my guide, with the proposition that the doubtful border states shall settle this question for themselves by convention to be settled for that purpose, after the withdrawal of all military forces of both sides from their limits, resolved that we believe that this course on the part of our government would be held by our people as an assurance that peace will not be unnecessarily delayed, nor their suffering unnecessarily prolonged. Resolved that while the foregoing is an expression of the sentiments of this General Assembly respecting the manner in which peace should be sought, we renew our pledges of the resources and the powers of this state to the prosecution of the war defense on our part until peace is obtained upon just and honorable terms, and until the independence and nationality, I repeat, independence and nationality of the Confederate States is established. On the motion of Mr. Person, a division of the question was ordered, and the question was first taken upon the motion to strike out. The yeas and nays were ordered on motion of Mr. Shepherd, and the numbers came out. Those who voted yea was 52, and those who voted nay was 42. And then it says the question recurring on the amendment, the yeas was 71, and the nays was 11. So they voted for nationality, but they was identifying as colors through the United States. And they said, as long as we don't have our nationality, we're going to be at war. They wanted independence and nationality. So then you get into the Southern in regards to the Scottish Rite, the 33 parallel and all that. They was wanting nationality. But U.S. is trying to identify you with a colorable term that alludes to slavery, as Noble Drew Ali would say. I immediately think again of Judge Taney giving out the Supreme Court case law that a black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect. And then giving Governor Conway, which I said Governor Owens in a demonstration. I like to make the correction. It was Governor Conway of Arkansas, who then put out the expulsion notice for all those that are identifying as colors. But again, white and black are names that allude to slavery. You have to identify with the nationality, or you're going to be socially absorbed, annexed, and your nationality extinguished. That means that citizens can treat you any which way that they care to bestow upon you. That's why they fine you and fee you to death. And when you stand with the nationality, you really know who is the true possessors of the land. Because if you have a nationality from across the ocean, then you have a man standing there with a nationality that ties him to a land of origin he's standing on. He has a birthright to that land, and you have to respect that. And the South wanted a nationality, and they went with Scottish. But then you have Noble Drew Ali, who went to the South in regards to the KKK, leading him where he needed to go. There was a Moor in Arkansas who they said was speaking radical. And in the newspaper that I found, Noble Drew Ali was going there to make a speech. And then part of that speech is in his literature where he says, stop speaking radical on the streets and in your workplaces and stop flashing your nationality card. It causes confusion to the European. Just like how Moors try to awake their own brothers in these days and times and they didn't want to listen. Europeans was trying to wake their brothers and they didn't want to listen because they were still drinking from the white fountain, which was still a colorable fountain. And this whole time, United States is still pushing for the colorable terms that allude to slavery. And the South said they'll always be at war until they get independence and nationality. And that's exactly what they fight against the Moors with too, because they don't want them to have the nationality. But they agreed upon this, and this is law, correct? They voted nay and yays. But in regards to Noble Drew Ali, when he went down south, they stopped him until they found out who he was. If he would have just told them that he was just Negro, black, or colored, they would have told him to go on. But he said something specific that let him pass, and they leaded him where he needed to go. One of them probably was in the car with them, or they both had vessels and they was in unison going down the street together. But they took him to show him where all his people wasn't trying to wake up, because he said, I've been down there and I seen the conditions and it's on my people. So they was riding around showing him, look, these people, they don't cut their grass. This all grew up. Look, these people. Meanwhile, there's a Moor 2 miles down the street that has barns and horses and cattle and pigs, got his stuff in line. Well, what did he do that them other ones didn't do? The conclusion is United States supports their institutions on slavery, mental slavery. And the Europeans still falling for the colorable BS, drinking off of the white fountain. The moment that man or that child drunk from that fountain, that white fountain, he threw away and extinguished his nationality. The United States supports their institutions off slavery and inequality to this day through colorable terms. And the South said they want peace through independence and nationality. I leave you in peace and love.